Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to Traumatic Tomes, and welcome back to perhaps the best mustache on BookTube. People are saying that. I don't know who, but there's whispers. So, anyways, I'm coming back to you with a book review. It's a book review, and it might not be what you expect. You might have seen that I've been reading a lot of literature from the 19th century. You might also know that I'm woefully underread in the Western canon. I have not read the Iliad or the Odyssey or the Aeneid or Dante or Chaucer or Milton or the Brontes or Jane Austen or Charles Dickens or Dostoevsky or Tolstoy or George Eliot. I could go on and on and on. I still read a decent amount, but I haven't read these authors. So I've been trying to go back to them. And you might be thinking, oh, he's got one of these old musty classics that he wants to review. But no, like any underread in classics booktuber, I went to NetGalley and I requested a new book. I just made a NetGalley account and I was like, this is a good way to avoid my responsibility of reading part of the canon. So I requested a book that's coming out in September 2025. And that book is The Far Edges of the Known World by Owen Rees, subtitled Life Beyond the Borders of Ancient Civilization. And this book was granted to me via Norton and Company. Although looking online, it looked like there was also a expected publication from Bloomberg Press or Bloomberg somebody. So I don't know how that works. I don't know how these two publishers fit together, since it seemed they both had a Kindle edition. So yeah, but I got this from Norton and they're not paying me. This is not an advertisement. I'm giving you my honest thoughts on the book, yada yada yada. I'm not a sellout. I'll never sell out. I'm not in it for the money. Yeah, that's my disclaimer. So, Far Edges of the Known World. This is a nonfiction history book, and it claims to be a study of a lot of different societies or cities on the outskirts of these major empires of the ancient world. Those being ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and ancient Egypt for the most part. Those are kind of the big three of civilizations from the ancient world that are studied, at least like popularly: Greece, Rome, and Egypt. There's some other like mid-tier ones like Persia, Macedonia. I mean, I'm not even going into the Far East in India and China. Are obviously big ones that have not much scholarship on them compared to the more Western civs. But yeah, Owen Rees, he's a historian. He's written a lot about historical battles in the past, but he's saying we need more scholarship on these lesser known parts of the world, like the fringe territory of these empires, because they were just as important as the centers. At least that's what he says, and that's his thesis, pretty much. His thesis is that the writers of the ancient world considered the people outside their borders to be barbarians and savages and idiots and cannibals and whatever. And he's saying no, they weren't savages. Well, some of them might have been, but they were just people. They lived, they traded, they said, "What's up, homie?" to whoever walked by. They fought. Did I say they traded? I think I did. They traded language, goods, services, ladies, men. But yeah, that is the thesis. There's a lot of misconceptions about what goes on the outskirts, and Owen Rees is here to revise the history and say, hey, we got to check out the stuff on the outside too. It's more than just the inside. It's more than just the center. And I do I agree with him? Do I agree with him? Having read the book, I agree that it's what happens on the outskirts is not unimportant. I think everything that happened in history is important for the development of the world as we know it. It wasn't all just created in Rome and Athens and Cairo or whatever the ancient. I haven't studied Egypt much. But yeah, I agree that these cities are not unimportant, but I can't really agree that the ascribed importance is that high. They were just cities, and I know I've just been mentioning random cities just abstractly. I've got a list of in this book. It's 10 different city/societies are covered, and Rees talks about why they're important. And he starts out in the prehistory kind of. Then he goes into the Greek world, and then the Roman world, and then kind of the post-Roman world, where Rees claims it's still the ancient world, despite the collapse of Rome, because these are on the way outskirts. Kind of like if you've read Foundation by Asimov, like the periphery, the Galactic Empire is collapsing, which is based on Rome. That the Foundation is based on the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. But in the periphery where the action of the story is happening, the Galactic Empire is gone kaput almost, or it's decaying, but the periphery is so far away that it doesn't even feel it. It's called the periphery, or like in Star Wars, like the Outer Rim. If you're far away, stuff ain't gonna reach you as fast, so you're more on your own. But the 10 locations that Rees talks about, I'll just list them in order. You might not have heard of any of them, but it's Lake Turkana in Kenya, the Kingdom of Kush in Sudan, Megiddo in Israel, also known as a name variant of Armageddon, I think. Olbia in Ukraine, Naucratis in Egypt, Massalia in France, which is Marseille now, Hadrian's Wall in England, Volubilis in Morocco, Karanis in Egypt, Bilsk also in Ukraine, Taxila in Pakistan, Koloa in Vietnam, and Aksum in Ethiopia. So if you are a beginner history reader, you probably have heard of maybe one or two of these. I wouldn't say I'm a beginner history reader, but I never studied. I didn't study history in college. I've read more than 10 history books, so I'm perhaps a little above beginner, but I'm no expert by any means. I don't even know if I'm intermediate. But these locations, to learn about the intricacies of them, was way beyond the scope of knowledge that I was interested in. And I don't think that was properly advertised on the book summary, or however, the blurbs, whatever. I don't think that was properly advertised, because if you don't know the broad strokes about what is happening elsewhere, then the small little intricacies are not going to help. And I don't even want to retain any of the knowledge that I learned here, because I think it would be detrimental to my grasping of history in the macro level. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm being an idiot, but I'm hesitant to even try to keep any of this in my mind, other than the simple thesis that these were people. These were people. They traded. There were multicultural cities in the margins of civilization, of the fringes. And why is that? That if you have a civilization and you have borders, maybe it's a hard land border or just like a soft border. It's like we're like over here. That's where it ends. That's where our military stops. If you have borders, well, that doesn't mean that people aren't outside of the borders. There's probably people close by, because the earth is huge and there's a lot of humans. And there's no civilization or empire that conquered everywhere. They didn't get to the end and then there was no more people. They got far enough and then they stopped because they had to stop. And when you stop, there's going to be people like right near you. And you can either fight them, or if you're done expanding, you can be cool with them. You can say, hey, we're gonna hang out, and we might intermarry. We might learn some of the same languages or form a pigeon or whatever. We're gonna trade. Some of our stuff will go back to the middle of the empire, and some of your stuff will come here. So that it just makes sense to me that these places that aren't like directly connected to the center of the empire are intermixed with cultures outside of the empire. I mean, by definition, empire means that you are an organization of people that have conquered those that are not in your culture. It would not be an empire if you only ruled those of your same culture. That's not an empire. That's just a city-state or something. But yeah, where am I? In conclusion, the book was interesting enough. I think it was a good work of scholarship. I still enjoy reading academic writing, but this subject matter was a little too advanced for me, as somebody who is no experienced history reader. I'm still trying to understand the paths of history as they go. I'm not fully there yet, and this book didn't help. It may be hurt. I think for advanced readers of history, it might be interesting, because you might learn some things that you may have overlooked when just trying to cover the larger civilizations. But I will say, Owen Rees, I think I said this in my review, my typed review, but he plays it really fast and loose with context and chronology. So you might be lost quite often, because he will go through like hundreds of years of history and just briefly mention things that happened without explaining them. He'll say like, oh, the Qin dynasty went belly up and the Hans did this, and this guy came into power and that's how it impacted Vietnam. And you're just sitting there like, I haven't studied Chinese history. I don't know what the impact of those things actually means, other than like this sentence that he gave me. I mean, I know I need to study Chinese history, and I would like to, but Rees he expects you to know these things. So I just want to make people aware, if this book is on your radar. I don't know if it is. but it's got a cool cover. And the paper, or the hardcover cover, I don't have it on the Kindle, but it looks cooler than this one. So you might see it at Barnes & Noble and be tempted to pick it up. And I'll say, I don't want to be that guy who's like, don't buy this book. It sucks. I don't think it sucked, but I think you should be wary if you are not an avid reader of history, and if you don't know Greece, Rome, Egypt, China like the back of your hand, this might be a difficult read for you. That's all I want to say. I don't want to get in trouble with my bosses at Norton, because I'm a book critic now. Just kidding. They can fire me. They cannot give me books. I don't care. I'm advertising this book anyways because I want to be 1 for 1 on my feedback in terms of books I requested. I'm batting 1,000, as the baseball folks say. So yeah, that's my review of The Far Edges of the Known World. Now, this infernal racket is back. But I think that the title's a little wordy, but decent book overall. So yeah, check it out if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. See you later.